Yo, what is going on? Good morning. This is Andrew, known as Zero Drew, Pip Cash Administration. Welcome back to a new video. If you're new to the channel, like this, subscribe, keep us motivated, put this shit out every day. Hope all of you guys had a fantastic fucking Thanksgiving. Now it's time to get back into work. Welcome December. Here we are. Let's get into it. New month, new fucking year coming. Let's go, guys. So I already marked up all the chairs all the charts as you guys know, so just stick around here. We're gonna explain everything for you guys. But also if you want to look at the charts, we're gonna be posting everything to the Discord group. So if you're interested in joining that group, click the link in my bio on my Instagram.com/ZeroDrawDrew. All the details are there, and let's get into it. So we're gonna start with GBP USD. GBP USD, as you can see on the weekly chart, we are bearish. We've been talking about this past couple weeks, so we've been trading what we see. But overall, we are reading downward momentum with GBP USD, right, on the weekly chart. So on the daily chart, all sellers' liquidity overall is below this 1.31950 key support, right? As you can see, on Friday, we had this bullish engulfing wave, but we did come up and reject that 1.33500 resistance. So that might be a retest on the drop, but based on that bullish engulfing, it does look like we do have a little upside for the time being. One thing that I do notice on the weekly chart is we took out last week's rejection, so we might be coming up to retest that 1.34120 before we see any more upside, and that's probably why we have this bullish candle that's indicating a little bit upside on the short term. But we got to keep in mind that overall we are bearish. So on the weekly chart, it does look like we're going to come up and retest that 1.34120 key resistance level, right? So on the hourly chart, one thing that I do notice, we do have this inverted crown looking to form. We didn't fully take that buyer liquidity above that level, right? So all the buyers liquidity is above this trend line right here, and as you can see, it's approaching that retest of that level right there. So as you can see, that 1.34100 level is the retest of that weekly resistance level, as you can see right here, right? So on the long term, we are looking down on GBP USD. The short term, we're looking up, right? On the hourly chart, we're looking up, right? We got that inverted crown. All the sellers' liquidity is down at this support level. So you do want to look for, bear traps to that level. One of the sessions you're looking to trade. So I'd look for bear traps to that level to trade towards, the overall liquidity, which would be above this trend line and the retest of that 1.34100. But at the same time, you do want to keep in mind that we are bearish overall, so you do want to just take profits based on the levels that you see, because there is a chance that we do trap bulls above that 1.33500, because that is a key zone, so we can see potential bull traps above that level. So what you guys want to do is, if you're looking for sell opportunities, you want to look for the bull trap above this level, or if you're looking for buy opportunities, you want to look for the bear trap below this level right here to trade towards the retest of those levels. Okay, so if you're a little confused, wait till the end. We're going to explain everything one more time, but I want to explain the other pairs first. Okay, so that is GBP USD. GBP JPY, similar story, right? We had this sell-off last week, as expected. If you guys want to go back and watch the video, I called this shit again. I said that, we had this U resistance, but this was on Friday, last Friday. I said that due to this wick, we might want to come up, trap bulls above that level. That's exactly what happened. And then eventually we sold off very aggressive into the week. But that was last week. So this week is a new week. But if you want to go back, watch that video and see what I just explained. I did explain that. So that's that. So GBP JPY, same story, right? We are bearish overall on the weekly chart, but we might want to come up and retest that 152.300 resistance level, which is that previous U resistance on the daily chart, that 152.350 resistance level, which is right here on the hourly chart. So If you look on the hourly chart, we did sell off very aggressive. We are approaching this trend line right here. We held it it was a valid hold right there. But one thing you guys do need to understand is that all buyers' liquidity is above this trend line and this resistance level right here. So overall, same thing with GBP USD, kind of similar, right? So overall, the direction is down, right? But on the short term, we are reading a little bit upside, right? Due to this wick that happened on the daily chart. As you can see, we dropped, but we kind of wicked up a bit, indicating a little bit of upside, right? So basically, all the buyers' liquidity is on the retest of that 152.350 key resistance. So we do want to wait for bulls to become trapped above that trend line right there. So at the moment, you do want to wait for bears to become trapped at one of these levels, maybe 151, 150, or ideally that trend line. Say if we drop in and then we come back in, look to trade towards that trend line, and so on and so forth, right? So like I said, we'll go over it one more time. GBP, JPY, overall we're bearish, but I think we want to retest that 152.300 key resistance on the daily chart. We sold off very hard. We had a wick later in the day, indicating some upside, right? So like I said, we do want to push up to that 152.350. All buyer liquidity is above that trend line and that 152.350 retest. All seller liquidity is below this trend line and this key support level right here. So overall, you do want to look for bear traps to one of these levels to trade towards the trend line, or wait for bull traps above this trend line to trade towards that overall target, right? But at first, we might want to, find some price action there before, the sell-off happens. So you do want to wait for that to happen and just kind of play it by day. Like I said, we'll explain everything one more time at the end. I just want to finish what I started. Okay, so Euro USD, we got this weekly wick. We came close to this weekly support level at 1.11720 key support, right? But we never fully touched that level, but we got that bounce, right? I talked about this last week. I said that we want to drop down to that level. I said that we were reading more downside due to this bull trap right here. If you want to go back and watch that, it's all there. Okay, so we called that perfect. But then we got that bounce, right? So as you can see, on Friday we had the rejection. We took out the rejection. So short term, we're reading upside, right? Actually, maybe long term, who knows? Because sometimes, when we get something like this, it could indicate a reversal, right? So we just got to play it by day. But one thing that I do notice is that, we got this bullish candle, right? And then we got this bullish candle on the daily chart indicating upside. We do have this U resistance, so there is a potential that we get bull traps above that 1.13730 key resistance. So right now it looks like price is moving towards that resistance level at 1.13730 resistance, right, on the short term. So you do want to look for support on one of these levels on the daily chart or hourly chart, right? So I would say the hourly chart, as you can see that wick. So you do want to wait for a pullback on the hourly chart to look to trade towards that 730 resistance on the daily chart. So as you can see on the hourly chart, that 630 resistance, the 630 support is the same 630 support that's on the daily chart. So over there on the hourly chart, you do want to look for bear traps to this level to trade towards that U resistance and maybe these trend lines listed, right? So that's this level right here on, actually you're gonna have to find it on 15 minute. It's like 650 or something like that. Wait for bear traps or something like this support right here to trade towards, that overall resistance, right? So if you're confused, like I said, we're gonna explain everything at the end, but just stick around. So that's that. So now we're at gold, right? Pay attention to this one, right? So like I said, I called this, but not really. I said that we were going to look for support, but support never found overnight. We were talking about this last week. It did sell off very hard. I did call the drop on the 4-hour bull trap later in the week, but that was last week. This is this week, so let's get into it. So on gold, right, we sold off. In the beginning of the week, we had this strong sell-off, right? We had that bull trap above that trend line. We had this strong sell-off, right? So as you can see, we are approaching that 1764 key support again, right? So on the weekly chart, it looks like we're overall bearish, right? On the daily chart, one thing that I do notice is we're reading this crown-like pattern, right? So all buyers' liquidity is above this 1813 resistance level on the daily chart, right? So we do want to see bulls get trapped above that level before we could see more downside, right? So right now on the short term, I do think we do have a little bit more upside. I think we want to push above that 1813 key resistance, which is the same key resistance on the hourly chart, right? So I do want to see bull traps happen on a daily chart above this 1813 resistance level, right? So right now we are reading upside with gold, right? So we do want to wait for bull traps above that 1813 resistance on the daily level, right? On the hourly level, as you can see, a crown within the crown, right? So let's go into the 15-minute chart. On the 15-minute chart, right, we did sell off, into the crown. So all sellers' liquidity is below this 1787 key level. So I would wait for bear traps to either this trend line or this support level to trade towards that overall liquidity at 1813 overall. But I would look to take profits maybe at one of these trend lines because you're going to see a little bit of selling pressure there. So what I do think is going to happen with gold on the short term and the long term is I think we're going to I'm going to draw an example on the 15-minute chart. I do think we want to trap bears somewhere here or here and then look for the buy when we come back into value to trade towards that overall liquidity on the 1850 high. And then when price action forms over here on a daily chart, we're going to look for a bull trap, something over here. Say we get an engulfing back into value, and then that will probably drop to that next level of support where that other crown level is. So that other crown level is that 1760 support, which is this level right here. So on the short term, I do think we want to trap bears, move towards that 1813 resistance, trap bulls here, and then move towards that 1760 support, right? So that is gold. If you guys are confused, feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram.com/ZeroDrawDrew. I know it could be a little bit confusing. I do teach you guys how to do this in the course, but I'm not going to try to sell you guys on that shit. So if you do want to buy it, it's in my bio. It's there. But other than that, we're going to go over this shit one more time. So stick around. So don't you guys love that? Fucking water when you're dying of thirst. Great. So let's get into it. All right, so one more explanation. I'm going to wrap this shit up and then enjoy my Sunday. So gold, like I said, overall, we're weekly bearish, right? On the daily chart, we got this crown pattern, right? All buyers' liquidity overall is above this 1813. Right now, we are reading upside on the hourly chart. On the hourly chart, all sellers' liquidity is below this 1787 key support and this trend line right here. Look for bear traps here to trade towards that buyer liquidity on the daily chart, which is that 1813 high, and then look for bull traps above here later in the week to trade towards that 1760 support, right? So I do want to see price drop. I want to see bears get trapped, trade towards the buyer liquidity, wait for bulls to get trapped, and then trade towards the overall seller liquidity. Okay, so that is gold, right? Euro USD, like I said, we got this weekly doji candle star, so it looks like we can start to turn around, right? On the daily chart, we had this bullish engulfing that took out that previous day rejection. We are looking at these key support levels, this 1.12600 key support level on the daily chart. We do want to see a pullback in the beginning of the week, wait for bears to get trapped somewhere down there to trade towards the overall U resistance that is at 1.13730 resistance, and then look to play it by day from that level, so on and so forth, right? Euro USD, GBP JPY, like I said, overall we're bearish, but on the short term it looks like we might want to come up and retest that 152.350 key resistance. All seller liquidity is below this trend line and this key support. Wait for bears to become trapped to trade towards that trend line and that resistance level retest, and then look for bull traps above there, and wait for price action to set up and then play it by day. That is GBP JPY, GBP USD. It's bearish on the weekly chart. On the daily chart, we have this bullish wick. We just retested that 500 resistance level. All buyer liquidity is above that 1.34100 retest. So look for bull traps above there or look for bear traps here. Alright, so guys, that is it. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like this shit, subscribe to the channel, keep us motivated, put this shit out. If you got any questions, like I said, DM me, Instagram.com/ZeroJawDrew. Other than that, have a fantastic fucking weekend. Love you all. Take care.